Radio. Welcome once again to the Bibi and Peter show. And this is Peter.
And I'm Bibi.
And we are back at you with more fun and laughter into your English language experience. So please sit back and relax as we fill your ear with drama, banter, and much more importantly, language learning. Bibi, bring it on.
Phrasal verbs once again. Yay! What are we talking about today, Peter? But I know we're not doing.
Again,
I know we're not doing. No, it's going to be exciting today.
We said we're going to change our focus in this podcast, Bibi. You said that you're going to stop doing phrasal verbs.
Okay, fine.
You promised me.
Hear me out. Okay, I promise it's going to be different today because I want to pick your brain about a book you've just read, Atomic Habits.
Oh, yes. That's interesting. Atomic Habits. Yeah, that's... I told you about the book between one of the podcasts, remember?
Yes. And that's why I said, it was brilliant. I loved hearing about it from you. And I think it's something we can share with the listeners. And while you do that, I can find some brilliant phrasal verbs for them. So hit me with it. What was the book about?
Okay, so I think many of you guys probably have heard of Atomic. I think it's an excellent book. It's really changed my life. I know that many of you guys are like, Peter, I need a book to be able to read through a book. And that's kind of complicated because it's so hard for us to focus, Bibi. It feels like, the letters on the page just doesn't engage us as much as it used to, right? So it's really difficult to get through a book. So what I've done is I've downloaded Audible from Amazon and I've just gone through audiobooks and I've done that while I'm jogging or while I'm walking or while I'm working. I'm listening to the book and I've been able to listen through multiple books in the last year and it's been really awesome. And Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits were one of the main ones that I would say that just stood out.
Why? What makes it so special?
I believe that currently, Bibi, we're having a great disruption within our homes, with remote work. There's so many things changing right now. And I feel that we're living a lot of disruption and we need to set the record straight. And I think the best way to set the record straight is to get our habits back on track. Do you agree?
Basically, yeah, but I want to know about the book. Like, does it teach you how to cut out? So the phrasal verb, cut out, means to remove something negative, right? So from your life, does it teach you how to cut out a bad habit? Or does it give you a step-by-step process? How do you know?
Very practical. It's very practical, and one of the first the first chapter, what James Clear mentions in the book, and I'm just going to briefly go through these chapters just as a trailer, and those that's already read would also find it interesting. Is that he says that changes comes in small little packages, tiny steps forward, and we always expect this great revolutionary epiphany kind of changes, but that's not what it's about. It's about not your habit. Yeah, it's about knowing who you are. It's becoming your habit.
So, Peter, I actually have a very good phrasal verb for this. It's phase in. So phase in means to gradually start something. Like you don't start it, boom, the next morning I'm going to start eating healthy and no more carbs, right? You phase in slowly, right? And you wean off. So wean off is another phrasal verb to mean stop doing something, but gradually, slowly, step by step. So you don't go cold turkey, right? Have you ever heard of the expression cold turkey?
I have. But I don't think the listeners, maybe just explain it to the listeners.
So cold turkey is when you stop something instantly. And I think this is what the book tells you not to do. Yeah, am I correct? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying? It tells you
100%.
not to do things cold turkey. It's to phase in the habits like step by step and wean off from the bad
Yeah.
habits as well. Oh,
Yeah, he gives 4 simple steps, Bibi, and I'm gonna go through these 4 steps. That kind of that's a skeleton of his book. In the next chapters, and he puts it into laws. He has 4 laws, which is the 4 laws of the atomic habits. And the first law is make it obvious. Make it obvious.
How? By writing it down or keeping a record of it? What?
Well, there's a lot of techniques that he mentions. Environment design. It's just about making sure that the brain eases itself into the habit. So you need to make it as easy as possible for the brain to not only process the habit, but to wean and to get into the habit.
Yeah.
Literally.
So it's broken down into bite-sized pieces of advice that you can actually digest. Yeah. So
yeah. And the second law is make it attractive. The habit needs to be pleasurable. There needs to be something in this habit that brings you pleasure. Dopamine is an important agent that needs to play a role within your habits.
So if you're learning English, listen to our podcast because it's actually entertaining and attractive, and you get to learn English in a very fun way, right? Perfect example.
It is. And the next one is make it easy.
There's nothing more easier than that is listening to us.
The law of the least effort.
Okay.
And stop procrastinating. Using I'm not sure if you've heard of the 2-minute rule.
No, tell me about it quickly. We have like a minute. Tell me.
Well, it's building habits that only takes 2 minutes, and then building on that habit. Building habits that is really short and powerful.
So it's something that you can stick to, yeah, continue without having to stop. That's another phrasal verb, stick to stick to it, yeah. So it's not like a New Year's resolution where you start off with a bang, and so you phase in slowly and you wean yourself off slowly as well, and you stick to it. It's easier to stick to something when you do it, like they say in Spanish, paso a paso. I think in Italian they say piano piano. Yeah, like step by step. Yeah, that's it.
And the last law, Bibi, is make it satisfying, which refers to rewarding yourself. Intrinsic rewards will sustain the habit. You need to reward yourself.
How do you reward yourself?
By tracking the habits. You need to have a habit tracker.
Okay.
So
what's your reward?
Measure your progress. Well, I have a lot of rewards, and one of them is doing this podcast. This is a great reward for me.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's brilliant. I thought you were going to say something boring like, I treat myself to a cup of cappuccino, to or a very nice piece of cheesecake. But you chose our podcast? Wow. Guys, isn't that flattering? I have to be honest, that's quite flattering. Thank you, Peter. It makes me want to stick to this podcast even more.
Yeah, got it. And I want you guys to maybe pick up the book or download the audiobook if you can. It's an amazing book, Atomic Habits. And I think it's very relevant to language learning, extremely relevant for language learning. So make sure you don't give it a miss.
Brilliant. Is that time to wrap up, right, Peter?
Let's wrap it up. Go ahead, Peter.
Well, it was wonderful to hear Peter's Atomic Habits journey. And I think he just made my day saying that one of his rewards to keep him on track, right, is the podcast. So, yeah, it was wonderful to spend time with you, Peter. And I hope the listeners enjoyed it as much as I did. Till next time.
Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.